with the good intentions of giving people houses at discount, ends up with a housing bubble, and the people who are supposed to be helped, they lose their house. Same way with education. The attempt to help people in education, all you do is you don't get better education, you end up actually pushing the price of education up. So we've delivered now hundreds of thousands of students graduating with $1 trillion worth of debt and no jobs. So it's a totally failed policy. Only a generation ago, we didn't have government programs, and people worked their way through college, and I was able to get through medical school and college, but it wasn't so expensive. So it's the inflation, the problems of the government. As soon as the government gets involved for good intentions, there's always unintended consequences, and almost inevitably it backfires. And besides, let's say it did sort of work, and it does work for some people. Some people get an education at the expense of others. But why should people who are laborers who never get to go to college, why should they be taxed to send some of us through college? So it's not even a fair system when it works. But obviously it doesn't work, and that's why it's coming to an end. And now they have to talk about, well, what are we're going to have to bail out everybody, bail out the housings, and now bail out the student loans. But that's not the answer. The answer is looking toward the cause, and the cause is spending, debt, printing money, inflation, too much government, loss of confidence in the free market, loss of confidence in liberty is what it is. And where the responsibility is. Responsibility is on the individual and the family to take care of their needs, not the federal bureaucracy. It just doesn't work.
A lot of support among young people.
That's right.
They're borrowing to pay for college at record levels. Would you abolish all federal student aid?
Eventually, but my program doesn't do it. There's a transition in this.
But that's your ultimate aim.
Yes, because there's no authority to do this. And just think of all this willingness to want to help every student get a college education. So they're at $1 trillion in debt. We don't have any jobs for them. The quality of education has gone down, so it's a failed program. I went to school when we had none of those. I could work my way through college and medical school because it wasn't so expensive. So when you run up debt, you print money, cost goes up in the areas that the government gets involved in, education and medical care and housing. So it's artificial and distorts the economy. So we just slightly different, where I think all for less taxes and less regulations, we recognize this. But I emphasize the fact that you have to know why we have a recession and why we have unemployment before you can solve the problem. And financial bubbles are created by excessive credit and stimulation by the Federal Reserve. And then you have bubbles and you have to have a correction. This stimulus creates excessive debt and malinvestment. As long as you don't correct that and you maintain the debt and the malinvestment, you can't get back to economic growth again. Unfortunately, so far, what we have done is we have not liquidated the debt. We have dumped the debt on the American people through TARP funding and as well as the Federal Reserve. So the debt is dumped on the people. And what did we do? We bailed out the people that were benefiting during the formation of the bubble. So as long as we do that, we're not going to have economic growth. We did the same thing in the Depression. The Japanese are doing it right now. So it's time we liquidate the debt and look at monetary policy, and then, of course, lower taxes. And I would like to do in the first year, cut $1 trillion, because that is the culprit, big spending and big government.